Well, we are back in studio on the tracker, and we have a world champion with us this time, Isaac, the Royal Storm Dogbe. He'll be telling us his story. He'll be telling us about being a world champion, losing his belt, and trying to fight his way up to the top. But he will also be sharing with us some of his personal life and personal interests that he doesn't typically talk about. Stay with us here on the show. When we come back, we'll get to our motivational video, and then my guest will start speaking to us. Welcome back to the tracker here on City TV. Former world champion Isaac Dogbe is in our studios. We're about to get into his journey and get to uncover some of the stuff that people don't typically hear him speaking about. Isaac, welcome to the City TV studios.
Thank you.
Last time we spoke, it was just prior to your Adam Lopez bout. This time you are here in the flesh. What have you been up to since you've been in town?
I came to Ghana mainly to rest and also to, spend some time with my friends and families and loved ones, and concentrate on the other aspects of boxing, and that is the business side and the promotional aspects of it, and also to come and see you guys in person.
That's nice. I'll be getting a lot more into the promotional aspects because I know you're trying to do some big stuff down here. But typically what I like to do on the show is to start off from the person's journey right from get-go, from birth, if I can. Tell me about your childhood. Were you born in Ghana? Were you born in the UK? Where exactly did you come up?
More Ghana. Accra here.
Okay.
Accra here near me.
I was shocked that you drove yourself to the studios of City TV.
Yeah, because I know the place, I know the terrain, I know the geography of Ghana.
Okay.
Aside from, getting lost most of the time. But I mean, when Google Maps is your friend, sometimes, it's just one of those things where you can either get lost or you can either find your way.
True,
and it's just one of those things. But yeah, I was born in Ghana. I lived in Kumasi,
You're born in Kumasi?
No,
or you're born in Accra?
I was born in Accra.
Okay.
I think when I was a baby, I was sent to Kumasi, and I grew up from there. And after a short while, obviously, I come from both sides, the Ashanti region and then the Volta region.
Okay.
My mother being Ashanti and my father and Ewe. So it's just from I went to the UK, started schooling over there.
No, hold on, you're going too fast for me. Tell me a little bit about your childhood, where you did your early schooling. What were you like as a young boy before even all the boxing stuff started coming into the picture?
As a young boy, I've always been a lovely guy. I've always been a lovely kid, So I guess, yeah, I wasn't a mischievous young boy, but I always I was always, headstrong. I was always, if there was something else, I always had, I believe, one thing that they always tell me is that I always had integrity in a form that I always looked out for my people, for my family. Okay. Though I've always been the youngest amongst everybody, but I always made sure that everyone was protected in a way, little me trying to fight for the older people and stuff like that. So, yeah, I always had that good heart, for people, genuinely love people and in general. And boxing really wasn't a thing that I wanted to do. I guess I was inspired in doing it. And after a while, after a while, I grew up loving it, and I never turned back from it.
We'll get there in a bit. I mean, young boy carrying your bag to school, like you said, you always had a thing for looking out for other folks. What school was this? Like, what basic school did you attend?
In Kumasi, I went to Amazing Grace Prep School.
Okay.
Not too far from where I lived, Kote Didiako. When I came to Accra, the first school I went to was Datus.
Okay.
Datus Academy, I think in Dansoman.
Okay.
I was in a boarding house. And from there, I went to St. Monica's in
Back in Kumasi?
No, here in Accra.
Okay.
From that too, I went to St. Monica's around, I think North Kanishi.
Okay.
Yeah, around North Kanishi. And from St. Monica's, I went to London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you spoke about before you were inspired to join boxing. What was this inspiration?
Um, I guess it first started off as me trying to prove a point. Um, you know, obviously, my father at the time, he's the one that got me involved in boxing in the first place, and yeah, we just kind of like took it from there. It took a whole lot of convincing,
From him?
Yeah, from him before I actually said okay.
What was that conversation like? I mean, does he come up to you one day and say, you know what, I think you have the mentality or the structure or the tenacity to do this, so I think that you should consider. What was that conversation like?
I was more or less like, yo, listen, you're doing football and you're too strong on the field, and I think when you do boxing, it's way better. I can help you more in the boxing than in the football. I think, with your strength and everything, and, with God on our side, I really believe they can do much more exceptional in the sports of boxing than in football, because you don't really have the height. In England, most of the players were tall and everything. Even my peers were always towering over me. I've always been that little guy around, and yeah, it was just one of those things.
So wait, in your footballing days, this was what, basic football for like your school teams?
Oh no! I actually joined a team.
You played a coach team?
In England. Yeah, I think I was around like 14 years old, 13, 14 years old, and yeah, I was playing football. I was playing for a team.
That's just when you had moved to England. You started off playing football just when you moved.
No, I think a year afterwards, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was still in school anyway. I was in school. I was in secondary school, and I would always, play, go for training in the evenings and stuff. There were a few things that I was actually doing. I was playing football, and I was also in the cadet, and stuff. But yeah, and then I picked up boxing as well. But then after a while, the football and the cadet just slowly faded out because the boxing became more and more intense and everything. And yeah, it just kind of like, it toppled everything. And, 1 year of me joining the boxing club, I won the first junior tournament. And it just kind of like
took off from there. Let me tell you where I first met you. I'm not even sure you remember. You and I did a practice run for a new TV station. I won't mention the name, but we did a practice run together. You were with one Mr. Isaacs at the time and your dad. You came to the TV station. We did a mock run of a TV show. And this was just about when you were hitting the limelight. Remember, Mr. Isaacs was supposed to be sort of a sponsor at the time for your boxing career. You remember? You remember Mr. Isaacs? White dude. Tall guy from New York. Apparently said he was a lawyer. This was in the studios of Kwese TV. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I remember Kwese TV, yeah.
Exactly. That time, it wasn't even a real interview. We were just doing like a little mock run. But that's when most Ghanaians began to hear about you, just before your run with the Olympics. And the Olympics have just gone by, so I feel like that's a good point to go to now. And Samuel Techi obviously has been able to win a medal. What did you make of that particular run of his at the just ended Olympics?
I just think that he was destined for it. In every era, I believe that God sent somebody, to make a difference, to make a change, and he was destined for that. He fought exceptionally well at the Olympic Games. All hats off to him, and he deserves every praise and everything that comes with that achievement. I've always admired people going the extra mile, and putting Ghana in a positive light. And I really do hope that from this point on, every decision that he takes will be in his best interest, and for the future.
Yeah.
And I wish him, I wish him well, in his next steps, because he's done something great, and Ghana should be very, very proud of him.
Yeah. I remember you and I spoke about this Olympic episode before it happened, and you said that, I mean, with the type of setup we had, it would possibly take a miracle for us to be able to win a medal. I mean, how do you feel about Coach Ofori Asare and the very minute setup he has and what they have been able to achieve with it? And what do you think we can do with that particular setup now that it has yielded some form of result for us to feel?
Well, it has its own advantages and its own contraindications as well. And I say that I say that because, okay, now some people may say that, well, in the absence of all the high-tech things, we still managed to get a medal in the first place. So again, maybe that mindset isn't gonna come, that matter of urgency, as in having to put things in place, make things, put things like a state-of-the-art, gymnasium or something in place. Maybe that sense of urgency may not come. However, the positive side is that it could also come in a form, it could also happen because with little or no, state-of-the-art equipment and things, they've been able to use what they have, to produce something, to produce a champion, an Olympic champion. So I believe that in everything, there are always advantages and disadvantages as well. And I really do hope that this will be an eye-opener for the people in power. When I say people in power, meaning that people in high positions who see to it that all these things are, properly looked after. And I do believe that the sports ministries and, National Sports Authority, they are also doing their best and are going to do their best, because per my conversation with the sports ministries and other and the National Sports Authority, they underline their projects that they are putting in place and the things that they hope to achieve in the near future for Ghana, for the sports of Ghana, because sports is the new future. Yeah. Whether you like it or not, there's a lot that can happen through sports. True. Because right now people are restless. There are young men, and women who are very determined to achieve, who are very determined for success. And it's about time where they channel that fire, into something positive. And where sports is concerned, this is the best place and the best channel for people to, drive that emotion, drive that fire, drive that, bravado into something positive. And I believe that, like I said, sports is a future.
Yeah. Let's stay on that particular point. I mean, you made a point about the fact that, he made it without state-of-the-art equipment. But I say that if we put in place proper structures, maybe we could have had 2-3 more of what we had in the last Olympics.
Of course.
I mean, how do you feel we should be approaching the entire preparation for the Olympics thing, especially from a boxing standpoint?
We have to take everything one step at a time. I went to the Olympic Games when I was 17. I was the youngest, back in 2012. I think back then things were much more worse than it is now. And, things have improved a little bit from what I understand. Yeah. And we can only hope for more improvements. And like I said, the people in power, the new administrations, are the, you know, sports ministries.
Yeah.
They are doing their best to make sure to include other people in the sporting field. They are doing their best to put things in place that will benefit the sporting discipline, and also to involve more people, you know. And like I was saying, from me talking with the sports ministries,
Yeah.
and the National Sports Authority, I see the vision that they are trying to put in place. You know, it's true. When all these things are in place, we may not have just one Olympian, or we may not just settle for just Olympians, but Olympic medalists.
Okay.
You know, and that is the goal. Every nation that has Olympic medalists, they can boast of, you know, they can boast about something. They can, you know, they hold their athletes in high esteem.
Sure.
You know, and from that point on, there's a significant respect that comes with it. You know, and I do believe that this is the time that a lot of people have to really put their heads down and put their heads together.
Okay.
And you know, really make something, you know, really put the sporting discipline on the map, because it has been done, and it's been shown that it can be done. You know, and again, back to your question about Coach Asare. Coach Asare is a great guy. You know, he was there at the time that I was in
2012.
Yeah, in 2012. You know, the motivation was that, you know what, we don't have it, but we're going to use what we have. You know, and we're going to do our best. And it's all about the individuals, and also the collective efforts of the team.
Okay.
That's what makes it, you know, because everything can be in place, but if the people are not willing to put it out there to put it all out on the line, then there really isn't any point.
True.
But then when you have the people who are willing to go for it, and the facilities and everything is in place, then boom, that's a guaranteed success, whichever way you look at it.
Tell me about what you would do to help Ghana boxing right now if you had the finances, in terms of growing the game or the sport from the grassroots. If you could do something for the sport right now, what would it be?
If I was in a position, to do something right now, I will first and foremost make sure that there are facilities in every region and in key locations in each region.
Okay.
Looking at the standpoint of where I know that it is easy for people to get to these locations, right? Okay, if it's boxing, that's my field. I can only talk about boxing, right? I'll ensure that if this is the whole of Accra, I'll make sure that there are various boxing gyms, amateur gyms in many places, that it is easy to have access to. Because when these things are there, it encourages people to want to go there.
Cool.
To go into the gyms,
Sure.
to learn the sport, you know. And also, I do understand that no parent want their kids to start boxing, and then, you know, once they come back from school, you know, they have bruised eyes and bruised face and things like that. So make it part of the after-school extracurricular activities. You know, that is if I was in power. If I was in position to do anything, I will ensure that there are gyms there, you know, in various places, not just one gym where somebody has to travel from Adenta, someone has to travel from the Breeze, someone has to travel from another place, you know, to come and stuff like that. There has to be, you know, at least, let's say, this Adabraka, right?
Yeah.
Okay, at least there's 2 or 3 gyms here.
Okay.
In Adabraka. That's just to say the least, you know, to make it very accessible for people to come, to always be passing through the gyms, you know. And then, again, and from that point on, these gyms will be having competitions among themselves in Accra, you know, and you go to Kumasi as well, you know, all different gyms, you know, in different areas and things like that.
Yeah.
Then they'll start having competitions among themselves in all different weight divisions. Okay, and now we have a national tournament. Well, we'll first start off with the local tournament.
Okay.
And then from there we'll go to regional tournaments. So every region will have their champions.
Okay.
So from that, we'll go to national tournaments. So each region with their champions will come and compete in the national tournament. Now we'll have national champion. So from the national champions, we'll start having to, you know, think about the international tournaments. We have team A and team B and team C.
Yeah.
3 teams, right? So you know that the first team, these are the Olympic hopefuls.
Yeah.
So now the competition is there already. So if you mess up, someone is there to take your place.
Yep.
If this person messes up, this one is there to take your place. So now it makes the competition rich. Now you can't mess up. You're always going to make sure that, okay, this person is disciplined. This person is doing the right thing. And not forgetting that, you know, you also have to keep into consideration education. Because these are the people going to represent the country.
Yeah.
So these people have to be well behaved, well disciplined, and well mannered. And at least be able to articulate themselves. Because when a camera is put on you, you have to be able to sell your country.
True.
Because that's the country you're representing. You're representing the people, you're representing the country itself. So knowing that, okay, now it's not like people would be like, oh, the Africans, they can't really talk, you know. It's like you put a camera on them and, you know, they start babbling, you know, because if you want to put your best out there, if you want to put people out there, put your best people out there, because they're the people that's going to sell the country. People are going to see them and want to come to the country and want to visit the country, want to, you know, move with the people and see that, okay, yeah, you know what?
This is what Ghana is about.
Yeah, this is Ghana. This is the real Ghana. This is where I want to go for my next holiday. I want to go and experience what the people are doing there.
Interesting thoughts there. Isaac Dogbe just sharing his early childhood introduction to boxing, and also spoke a little bit about Samuel Techi and the Olympians that just came down from the Tokyo Olympic Games. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll get more into his fights, you know, capturing the world title, defending it, eventually losing it, going to school, returning to school, if I should put it that way, and a lot more in between those lines. So stay with us here on The Tracker. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Tracker here on City TV. We are talking to former world champion Isaac Dogbe. Let's talk about becoming a world champion. That was against Jesse Magdaleno, if I believe.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about that bout. I mean, do you get jitters going into a big fight like that? How is your preparation going to a fight of that nature, and how did you come out of that bout feeling after you were crowned champion?
I believe that, you know, I see myself as a person destined for greatness always, and you know, I've always believed that God is and is always instrumental in my life.
Okay.
And in my sporting endeavors. You know, going into that fight, yeah, I knew the magnitude of the fight. However, I also knew that it wasn't by my own strength. I believed that I was destined for that title.
Okay.
You know, but every now and then, you get nervous. But then that's what propels you to want to, you know, wake up each and every night, each and every day, you know, in the early hours of the day to go out and run.
Yeah.
You know, early hours of the day, you know, to run, you come back, you get to the gym, you train, you do the things that you need to do, you know, to keep that focus, you keep that energy going. And I thank God each and every day that, look, I set a record, you know, and that was something that I was proud of. that we set a goal and we achieved it. We worked towards it and we achieved it. And you know, obviously, it wasn't by myself alone. It was the collective efforts of everybody that was around me, everyone that was working with me at the time. And you know, for that reason, I always praise everybody. I always praise, you know, the people of Ghana as well.
Yeah.
Because it is also their motivation, you know, and their encouragement. You know, I always also, you know, thank the people who were very, very instrumental financially.
Yeah.
You know, into making the step towards that title fight, the step towards, you know, that dream become a reality.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a collective effort of many people, many individuals who were, you know, who were very, very instrumental. And like I said, God has always been instrumental, and He's always planted certain people and, you know, certain elements in my path, you know. And yeah, that fight was, it's one fight that people still talk about today. Even sometimes I'll be in America, and some people who would just meet me in real life for the first time and be like, "Oh my goodness, the first time I saw you, man, listen, you did so great, man, listen, oh my God, I love you, man, listen." You know, it's always that sort of thing where people are always amazed.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that it's all part of the blessings and the love that God always shows me. You know, so I mean, the fight was the build-up of the fight was a bit crazy. I mean, Magdaleno and I are now friends. You know, there's no bad blood between us. Even before the fight, I knew Magdaleno previously because I had sparred with him before, and you know, we exchanged pleasantries. But then when the fight was announced, and I don't know what happened, but hey, we are men, you know.
Yeah. It's competition.
Exactly. Sometimes you find us rolling on the floor after we finish, we dust ourselves and we shake hands and we both go our separate ways. You know, that's what makes life a bit interesting, you know. So yeah, it was a good fight, and one that I always, you know, I always recall. Yeah.
You mentioned Ghanaians and their support. I spoke to Joshua Clottey recently, and yes, he's been at the world champion stage before. He feels as if Ghanaians don't celebrate their boxing heroes enough. Do you share these sentiments?
I'm different. You know, I don't know. Like I said, everyone is different in their own way.
Okay.
I believe that the love that people have for me is exceptional. You know, I don't know. I guess when I came onto the scene, you know, you
were like a breath of fresh air for the boxing industry. I can tell you that.
I took people's hearts.
Yeah.
You know, and they follow me with their heart, and that's one thing that cannot be taken away. You know, and I've always felt that love from the people. Though you have a few individuals who try to abuse you online, but it's normal. Yeah. You know, but the majority of the people, that's the most important thing. The majority of the people, they follow me with their heart, and that's something that I'm always going to be grateful for. Yeah. Something that I am always grateful for.
Stay on that beat for me about online abuse and stuff like that. How do you react to that? You like when you're getting like hate from people online? How do you deal with that, and does that get to you?
I think now I deal with it pretty well. Before, when someone says some crappy thing about me, I'll probably reply. It's happened a few times, but I just thought about it, and I guess, sometimes I've always been the type of person where I will not allow you to bully me unless I choose to ignore you. Because I believe that, and it's not, I used to see as, that you have to, if someone is trying to bully you, you have to, speak up, you have to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
But in recent times, I'm beginning to understand power. Power doesn't come from the people who talk too loud or who, try to impose their strength or anything. power comes from the people who are actually calm, because it takes character for one to look at you and just ignore you. You know, when someone is coming out with all these silliness, you can tell that, you know, it's coming from a place of pain and sadness. You know, it's really low that people abuse people, you know, for no reason online. I really do believe that it is not the right thing to do. But people who do not have life, you know, they would do that because they want people to feel. So you don't want people to feel sad. Want people to feel some type of way. But like I said, in recent times, I just sort of like ignore all these things, because I feel that, you know what, if it's not going to benefit me in one way or the other, there really isn't any point in engaging in that. Because once you do it, it gives them the power, you know, and other people get involved. And, you know, I mean, I have to apologize to anybody that in the past I have said some unkind thing to or something, because, you know, I just felt that, you know what, I'm not going to be a victim, because that do drive people, you know, to different places. You know, online abuse is real, and it is not something I would encourage anybody to do. And because I've always had this principle that, look, if you do not have anything kind to say to somebody, don't talk at all. Keep your mouth shut.
That's great. That's great. Let's move on to the fights. You fought Otake, after that successfully defended, and then came Navarrete. Now, I've spoken to quite a number of people in multiple interviews about that bout. There are some people that believe that with a change of style, maybe different preparation, you might be able to navigate a Navarrete. There are others who also believe that based on his physical metrics alone, you will probably lose 100 times if you fight him 100 times. Question, will you take an offer to fight him a third time? And what do you think about the two schools of thought?
You know what, yeah? This is a question that almost everybody asks me. And every time that I answer this question, it seems like my name keeps on trending online and everything. So today, I'm not going to answer that question.
Why not? Why not? We want to know if there's a chance that you fight Navarrete again.
I'll let nature take its course. This is the fight game, you know? Anything can happen. But when that day comes, people will know my decision. And like I said, right now, I am in a position of control. Okay. And I am in a position of, you know, navigating my own way. Okay. I am in a position of, you know, taking bold decisions. You know, so when that day comes, people will know the step that I'm going to take.
When you say when that day comes, you mean if it ever happens
when that opportunity presents itself
to fight again.
When that opportunity presents itself, people will know the decision I'm going to take.
Fair enough. But what's your opinion of Navarrete as a boxer? I mean, having fought him twice.
He's a good boxer. My whole career, I've never fought anyone that we never thought was credible or wasn't worthy of stepping into the ring with me. Okay. Everybody that has stepped into the ring with me has been a worthy opponent. And that is something that I've always said, you know, I'm always up for fighting the best. And thus far, I've fought the best out there.
What makes him a standout boxer? I mean, you fought him twice. Like, what was one attribute of his that stood out to you?
Aside his obvious size, I think that, you know, he's got that tenacity. Okay. That a fighter must have, and that's something that I truly admire about him. You know, and I wish him well. I wish him in all of his endeavors.
I'm going to go to a controversial subject that you don't like to talk about, but I'll talk about it anyway. Sure. In the wake of the Navarrete defeat, there were a lot of people that called for your pops to step away. Isaac needed to get new trainers, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I want to know this. Whose decision was it to ask Paul Dogbe to take a back seat and allow Isaac to perhaps have new trainers? Was that your decision?
No.
Whose decision was this?
I believe that at the time, it was his decision, something that we discussed. Yeah. I mean, listen, my father and I had always been a good team.
Okay.
We had always, been an exceptional team, I should put it that way. But I guess, I mean, listen, it's a subject that I wouldn't want to go into too much. We did the best that we could together in a space of time that we did. And it's something that I praise him for every day, and I always admire, and I will always admire when he speak about my success story, or when my success story is being told one day. He's always going to be in it because he's a person I started with.
Now you work with Barry Hunter. I've forgotten the other guy's name.
Patrice Harris.
Patrice Harris.
Yeah.
Tell me about how much your fight style or your skill has changed, or even tell me about what has been added to your boxing knowledge and boxing acumen from working with those two.
I wouldn't say that my fighting style has changed. I believe that I would say it's still in the beginning.
Okay.
It's still the early stages. So I can't change just like that significantly.
Okay.
It would take some time. But what I can say is that my knowledge of boxing is improving significantly. They took me in, not just as a fighter and a coach, but as a son as well. Barry is a person where I can call him any time of day.
Okay.
And he'll pick up my call. And that is a sort of relationship most people need, most fighters need. I believe that everybody thinks that fighters are these, strong people, probably heartless, they're kind of cold.
I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense. I'm talking to you right now, and you're like very soft-spoken, and then you get into the ring and you're completely different.
It's different. It does not. Let me share in some secrets. I don't know if other fighters are going to like this, but fighters are some of the most softest people on earth when you get to know them personally. Aside all the pre-fight BS, but they are, I would say, most of the softest people. When a person likes you, the person likes you genuinely. Because listen, once people step into the ring, it's a matter of life and death. People lose their lives every time, most times.
True.
And that's something that the people from the outside don't know. But there are a lot of things that goes into it. And my prayer is always that God help us, that we both come out safely and go back to our families. And you have to be around a fighter to really know the sort of things that goes into it. So it's like, hey, we see things, we go through certain things psychologically and physically that, the average mind may not be able to. But listen, don't get me wrong, people are dealing with things on their own. Everybody has their own issues and things like that. So, it's just one of those things. You have to really get to know people first before you start, pointing fingers and start, saying things and stuff like that. Just one of those things. Like I said, you have to, fighters are humans as well. Every emotion that you go through, a fighter also go through the same thing. It gets to a point where some people will have to leave their families and, go places and trying to look for something, trying to better their lives for themselves and their families and things like that. So it just gets to that point where, it's like, we are not robots. We also have feelings, you know. And it can get really dark sometimes. You know.
That's interesting.
It is only God that
sees you through what goes on in the ring.
Exactly.
Talking about what goes on in the ring, let's get to that Adam Lopez bout. That was a very interesting bout. I felt like you did a lot of your work early in the bout and even towards the end, but I think he picked up his pace, he picked up his tenacity towards the end of the bout and gave you some punishment as well. How would you rate that particular bout from the last one? Did you think you had improved on the Avalos bout based on what you saw or what you did in the Lopez bout?
Avalos and Lopez are two completely different fighters. That's one thing that people has to put into consideration. And I do understand that for somebody like me, there's always going to be that higher expectations.
Yeah.
I do understand that clearly, and I appreciate that clearly. You know, styles make fight. Everybody sees as a Dogbe, you know, cracking jaws and dropping people, you know, left, right, and center. Yeah. You know,
a lot of people expected you to drop Lopez.
A lot of people were expecting me to just, you know, go in there first round now, boom, clap, you know, and he's on the floor. But hey, like I said, you know, I'm still in a build-up process. You know, it isn't every fight that's going to be all rosy. You know, like I said, every fight possesses its own challenges. You know, and I knew Lopez well because I had sparred with him before. I think on once or two occasions in California. You know, I knew what he was bringing to the table. I knew his coach. I know his coach very, very well. His coach was one of the guys in my earlier stages of my boxing career. My new management wanted me to work with, you know, but it didn't happen that way. You know, so I knew what they were bringing to the table, and at first they didn't want me to fight him. We spoke about that fight before, but they didn't want to, you know, take that fight. So I guess after they saw the fight with Avalos, they were inclined to take that fight to see where it was going to take them. But it was a fight that I always knew that it was going to happen down the line, one way, you know, or the other. And yeah, the plan was to go in there and fight smart, you know, boxing, because people don't really know that I can box. Everybody likes the knockout, and I love the knockouts too. I love the fight, you know. You know, there's a difference when you step into the ring and, you know, you come out satisfied, you know. Yeah, you know, but like I said, these are the sort of things, mentality that my new team is trying to, you know, make me understand. Hey, you have a long career ahead of you.
Yeah.
There's no point in you wanting to go there and every day fight. You know.
Doesn't always have to be a brawl.
Exactly. Box as well. You know, you box beautifully. So just utilize that. You know, so it's just something, but it's going to take time. Because I'm used to knocking people out. And I love the knockouts. In America too, they love knockouts.
Yeah, they do. They surely do.
You know, the TV network love knockouts. The TV
ratings love the knockout.
You know? So the more you're stopping people, your ratings are going up. Yeah. You know, and your net worth is building. So it's just one of those things. But every now and then, you start boxing, you know, and I don't know. Something will just click and it just, you know, end up wanting to fight. But there were a number of things that, you know, that came into play. I make no excuses. You know, I believe that for the first, you know, probably 7 rounds.
Yeah.
I believe that was in my favor. You know, I believe I dominated, and even in the later stages, though he came up strong, I was still throwing the cleaner shots. I was still throwing the eye-catchy shots. You know, so, and yeah, I believe that I did deserve to win that fight, and I won it fairly.
Now, just quickly before we take our next break, you said you are a man in control. Talk to me about the next prospect of opponents that you have in your view right now, how close does that take you to contesting again for a world title? Because I know you want that title back.
Of course. You know, like I said in some of my previous interviews, right? I am not in a rush, you know, into, I'm not in any rush in getting into fights as, you know, as quickly as possible or whatever. But the thing is that at this stage, I can fight for world title anytime. It's just a matter of, you know, getting the call
Okay.
for when the opportunity presents itself, because I'm in position for that. You know, winning the NABF title put me in that position where, you know, I'm back in the world title contention,
Okay.
which I could be called anytime, any moment, anytime. I was given a fight October 23rd, and I think that was going to be on a show for Shakur Stevenson and Jamal Herring for that fight, you know. But I had to turn it down because I wasn't ready, you know. Obviously, in all things, you have to make sure that you are always cream and proper. I've always believed in that, and I will not put myself into situations where I know it is not going to be in my favor. So when I speak of power and control, you know, in decision making, I know what fights. I know not to get into a fight knowing that I am not ready. You know, because some people will get into fights because of the money, you know, but it is beyond money. You know, we want the glory.
Yeah.
Though we want the money as well, but the glory and the goal, that's the vision that's out there, you know, that's what we want to put into place. You know, so like I said, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I know that it's not going to favor me, and it's just going to be just about the money. From the first onset, it wasn't about the money. You know, it's always been about, hey, this is something that we can do. You know, bring the people together, inspire the next generation, let them understand that, look, there is a gift in struggle, you know, and that gift has to be put out there, because many people have different mindsets in what they want to achieve and what they want to do. And when money is a motivation, then it means that you can't really see further than just, you know, the now.
So we are taking another break here on the tracker. When we come back, I'll ask Isaac some really random questions about boxing and life in general, and then we'll wrap this up. Welcome back to the tracker here on City TV. We are speaking to former world champion Isaac Dogbe. Isaac, let me ask you a few random questions. Who's your favorite Ghanaian boxer?
My favorite Ghanaian boxer? I have a few.
Okay.
You know, when you speak of the old school, Azuma has to be involved. Akoti has to be involved. Joshua Clotte and Joseph Agbeko. Current guys, you know, Richard Comey. And who else? I think one other guy that I'm very cool with, Duke Micah.
Okay.
Duke Micah is an exceptional guy. And and the new Olympian. I love his spirit. Samuel Techi, yeah. He can fight. He's got that confidence, you know.
Now you mentioning his name, a lot of people believe he should go pro after his Olympic feats. What do you think?
What do I think? What I think is not relevant. It's about what he wants to do. You know, he has to make that decision, and he shouldn't be influenced into making that decision. Before he makes that decision, he should think about the current situation, you know, going on. And he should make a sound decision. I'm not God. I can't decide somebody's destiny. Everything whatever he feels in his heart, that's what he should go for.
What's your hobby aside boxing? I mean, boxing is a job for you. What's your hobby when you're not boxing or you're not training or you're not watching your diet and all that stuff? What are you doing?
When I'm not doing all of that, you know what? I live a very boring excuse me. I live a very boring life, but I believe that I can really talk to save a nation.
I can tell. You don't have to tell me right now.
No, but I mean, like, every now and then I have, you know, I'm a low key kind of person, so I just try. I spend time with my friends and family. Every now and then, if I'm not training, I'll just be like, you know, have a chill spot somewhere that, you know, I'll just be chilling if I'm not at home, you know, stuff like that.
What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh my goodness. I love food. Kelewele has to be one of them. Omutuo and peanut soup.
Okay.
And katenkwen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Ghana jollof rice, obviously.
Okay.
I like light soup and banku.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then you know, plain rice, yeah, and the grinded pepper. You know the green pepper. My God,
I do.
I'm beginning to sound like a foodie.
I do. Tell me about any musicians you like down here. Whose music are you rocking with down here?
Quite a few. You know, I'm a versatile kind of person, so I like Stonebwoy. I like, every now and then I listen to Sarkodie.
Okay.
And you know, I like this girl's song. This girl, what's her name? My mind there for you.
Jackie?
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
I like Jackie's songs, and you know, and apart from the occasional, the old school ones, you know, I have Nana and Pedi songs on repeat as well. I like you know, Kojenchi and you know, yeah, Kojenchi, and yeah, and a few of them, you know, add them to I like his songs. And there's this you know, there's this new guy. Oh my goodness, there are actually two new guys.
Yeah.
Their songs were banging. Well, I think the other one was last year. He took
Talk?
that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Black Sheriff.
Black
now.
Sheriff, that guy. I think they're
You're up to date with your stuff.
think they're bad,
Finally,
yeah.
before we go, you spoke about Rising African Star Promotions. Just talk to us a little bit about what you want to do with that, because I've heard you want to run promotions in Ghana now.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Rising African Star Promotions and what you're hoping to do in
Rising
Ghana.
Star Africa Promotions.
Yeah.
You know, as at now, we want to get into. We are getting really into the boxing aspect. You know, from the grassroots, going into the gyms and working with the gyms.
Okay.
I'm an ambassador for a foundation called Boxing is Love.
Okay.
Yeah, Boxing is Love. And recently, we teamed up with another boxing gym in Switzerland, Box Club Root. You know, the plan is to get into the grassroots of boxing.
Okay.
Because the talents are already there. You know, and like I was saying, if you want to do anything, you have to get involved. You have to be the people's champ.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to be like, oh, hey, I'm supporting you guys from here. You know, it's easy to come, you know, bring a bag full of equipments or gloves, boxing gloves and all these things and just give it to them. Now, it's all about getting involved. And that's something that we want to do. You know, want to make sure that the sport is safe.
Yeah.
You know, for the parents and for people, the grown-ups to see that the sport is safe.
Yeah.
So we want to provide all the safety equipments for people, you know, for them to, you know, to use. And also for the people to see that, okay, though it's a dangerous sport, we have to do the best that we can to ensure that we make it safe for everybody so that everyone can enjoy the sports.
It's been amazing talking to you. I'm sure we could talk another hour if we were given the chance, but time is up. Hopefully, once you're down some other time, we could talk It's been great having you on the tracker.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. So you heard former world champion Isaac Dogbe speaking to us on the tracker, sharing his entire story with us. I enjoyed a lot of it, especially the bit about his food and music taste. Who knows what he might reveal next on the tracker? Stay with us here on City TV and you might just find out.